Good day, students. Welcome to this JSS 1 English language lesson on reading skills, specifically skimming and scanning. We introduced this briefly in our comprehension lesson, now we explore them in depth. Effective readers do not read every text the same way, they choose the right reading strategy for the task. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define and apply skimming to identify main ideas and text structure, define and apply scanning to locate specific information quickly, use both techniques strategically in examination comprehension, apply SQ3R, a structured reading technique, and develop overall reading efficiency. Let us begin. The 3 reading modes, recap and deepen. Skimming, reading quickly to get a general overview. Purpose, find out what a text is about without reading every word. How to skim, read the title and headings/subheadings, read the first sentence of each paragraph, topic sentence, glance at the last paragraph, often a summary, note any bold, italic, or underlined words, look at images, captions, and diagrams. When to skim, before reading a textbook chapter to preview content, to decide if a text is relevant before committing to reading it in full, to get the gist of a newspaper article quickly, as the first step in answering comprehension questions. Scanning, searching rapidly for specific information. Purpose, locate a particular fact, a name, date, number, keyword, without reading everything. How to scan, keep the target word or phrase in mind, move your eyes rapidly down the page, look for visual cues, capital letters for names, numbers for dates/statistics, do not read every word, just hunt for the target. When to scan, finding a specific line in a poem, locating a name in a directory, searching for a date or statistic in a passage, answering where in the text does it say, questions. Intensive reading, reading slowly, carefully, word by word. Purpose, full understanding, detailed analysis. When, for comprehension questions that require full understanding, studying difficult material, reading literature for analysis. SQ3R, a structured reading technique. SQ3R stands for survey, question, read, recite, review. Survey, skim the text first, titles, headings, first and last paragraphs, to get an overview. Question, turn headings and topic sentences into questions. This section is called the harmattan, so I should ask, what is the harmattan? Where does it blow? When does it occur? Read the text carefully to find answers to your questions. Recite, after each section, close the book and say aloud, or write, what you just read. This tests and reinforces memory. Review, after finishing the whole text, go back over headings, your questions, and your recited answers. Fill in any gaps. SQ3R is powerful for studying textbooks and for examination revision. Improving reading speed and comprehension. Avoid subvocalization, reading each word aloud in your head, it slows you down. Use a pointer, your finger or a pen, to guide your eyes, this can increase speed. Read in chunks, groups of words, rather than word by word. Build vocabulary, the more words you know, the faster you understand. Read widely, students who read daily, newspapers, novels, non-fiction, improve comprehension significantly. Nigerian reading context. Read a variety of text types, Nigerian news websites, novels by Chinua Achebe, Chimamanda Adichie, Wole Soyinka, past WAEC comprehension passages, science textbooks. The WAEC comprehension passage is usually 400 to 600 words. Learn to skim it in 2 minutes, identify the main idea, then answer specific questions using scanning and intensive reading. Recognizing text structure. Understanding how texts are organized helps you skim faster. Cause and effect, signal words, because, therefore, as a result, consequently. Compare and contrast, signal words, however, on the other hand, similarly, unlike. Problem and solution, signal words, the problem is, one solution, to resolve. chronological, time order signal words, first, then, next, finally, in 2020. Definition/description, signal words, is defined as, refers to, for example. Examination tasks. Task 1, skimming in 30 seconds, skim a 200-word passage about Nigeria's oil industry. Then answer, what is the passage generally about? Do not read every word, skim title, first sentence, headings, last paragraph. Answer format, the passage is generally about and discusses. Task 2, scanning in the same passage, how quickly can you find the year Nigeria's oil industry began? The name of the main government oil company. Strategy, hold year and government company in mind. Scan rapidly, your eye should catch numbers, years, and capital letters, proper nouns of companies. Task 3, SQ3 application. You have a chapter titled Photosynthesis in your biology textbook with subheadings, what is photosynthesis, raw materials, the process, importance. Skim, what will this chapter cover? Question form questions for each subheading. Read carefully. Recite, close book, say what each section taught you. Review, revisit your questions. 3 common mistakes. Mistake 1, reading every word when scanning. Scanning is a search, not a read. Move your eyes like a radar, looking specifically for your target, a name, number, keyword. Reading every word defeats the purpose. Mistake 2, trying to skim when the question requires intensive reading. If a comprehension question asks explain in detail how, you cannot answer with a skimmed understanding. Recognize which task requires which reading mode. Mistake 3, not using SQ3 for revision. Many students reread notes passively without testing themselves. The recite step of SQ3 is the most powerful. Forcing yourself to recall information without looking is the single most effective study technique. Test yourself before you look. Well done. Summary. 3 reading modes, skimming, general overview, titles, first sentences, headings, scanning, specific targets, move eyes rapidly, look for visual cues, intensive reading, full understanding, word by word. In comprehension, skim first, scan for specific answers, read intensively to verify and understand. SQ3 survey, skim, question, make questions from headings, read carefully, recite, test yourself, review, go back over key points. Text structures, cause/effect, compare/contrast, problem/solution, chronological, definition. Tips, read widely, build vocabulary, avoid subvocalization, read in chunks. For homework, A. Practice SQ3 on a chapter from any of your textbooks. B. Write the main idea of any article you read this week in one sentence. C. Time yourself. Skim a one-page newspaper article in under 90 seconds and state what it is about. Attempt a quiz on your LMS. Keep studying hard. Visit Litech Academy at academy.litech.com.ng. Until next time.